Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K channel, and today's video, Andy and Kirk have no idea what's coming up, but you do because you've read the title. And I, of course, do because I know how to pause the video. But we will pause it when we get to certain points. And without further ado, let's check it out. I stopped a little bit early there because before the vocals properly kick in. So I wanted to get your first initial impression from the intro, Andy.
I really like the guitar tone on that sort of single note intro. Yeah, I'd like to carry on, or would carry on listening to this. This is sort of intriguing.
Okay.
I mentioned Evanescence in the last video, but I don't think it's them. No, there's that vibe,
Yeah. Gothic
it's
rock.
Gothic rock. It's not Amy Lee. The guitarists look like the original guitarist, a bloke called Ben something,
Ben Moody.
Ben Moody, yeah, he looked like he was in there in the band as well, but obviously it's not Evanescence, but that kind of genre, isn't it?
Okay. Kirk?
Dave, question for you. Is that in 3/4 timing or 6/8? You're the drummer. I don't know. I'm guessing that's 3/4 timing.
3/4.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's got my attention straight away. The waltz, the rhythm that they're using, the guitars. That does remind me of Greg McIntosh. But I don't really know where it's going to go from here. I'm going to make a prediction. It doesn't get too heavy, and they're going to be reliant on vocals, which won't be a bad thing. So definitely has my attention. But what about you, Dave?
I know this song very well, so I can't really pretend that I don't know where it's going. So I'm more interested in what you guys have said because it's quite interesting based on what you've said. So I'll share all my wrap-ups for the end. But yeah, I know this. I've got the album this came off of and so forth. So but it's interesting what you guys have said so far. Let's keep going.
There's no use in crying. All my tears won't drown my pain. Free me from your sorrow. I can't grieve you again. I watched you let yourself die, and now it's too late to save you this time. You bury me alive, and everybody's gotta breathe somehow. Don't leave me die. You can seal my emptiness and lies.
Okay, so that's the first chorus out of the way. Throw it back to you, Andy. Initial thoughts now. Well, second thoughts now.
She sounds and looks like Amy Lee, although it's not Evanescence. The bass player looks like he's an extra from Bugsy Malone. He looks like he's sticking out like a sore thumb. I did think Lacuna Coil for a split second, but I don't think it's them either.
Okay.
And I know you're not a huge fan of them, so I definitely certain it's not Lacuna Coil. But yeah,
Okay.
like I agree with Kirk was absolutely right. I don't think it's gonna get too extreme, too heavy, but I'm liking it so far.
Okay, Kirk.
Yeah, I also got Lacuna Coil vibes. It's not Christina Scarlett, is it? At this point, why do you need two guitar players? They're so thin in the mix. But again, I understand why Gothic rock, it's not trying to be anything heavy with a lot of weight behind it. And it's clearly relying on the vocals. Excellent first chorus. I like how she just stepped up a level for that chorus. I thought she was a bit too contemplative, in that first verse, and she's really now taken control of the song. But again, is it going to remain like that? Is it all going to be about her? If so, she does have the charisma, but at the same time, from a musical point of view, at this stage, I don't think I'm going to be too interested in this song. That's just my prediction at this stage.
Okay. I'm going to keep going.
All I did was love you. Now I hate the nightmare you've been.
Okay, so there we go. Before I tell you any details, I'm going to let you have a guesses or talk about it and give you your thoughts, and I'll confirm all stuff at the end. So over to you, Andy.
The more that went on, the more confused I got. Because we mentioned Amy Lee, I mentioned Ben Moody from Evanescence. The other guitarist in the short black spike hair looked like Tim McCord, Evanescence guitarist. The guy on drums looks like a bloke called Rocky, who I think is the drummer from Evanescence. Is this an Evanescence tribute band?
Oh shit!
You're very close.
Am I really very close? It's Ben
Yeah.
Moody's band, isn't it? That is
Not
him.
quite, but you're in the
Okay.
same. You're in the
All
right.
right. Well,
Would you like me to tell you about it?
no, I won't say any more about that. I'll just sort of carry on with the rest of the song. I did like it very much. It's very Evanescence. I like the story element of the video with the sort of, you know, the funeral and the burial and everything like that. I love the imagery of that, the sort of, you know, set in time costumes and the you know, that element of it, and also the performance. Overall package really, really good, but I'm just so confused by it all.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. Give it over to Kirk, and then I'll kind of go into a bit more detail about the whole band and everything.
Three things. I'll make a guess that it's from 2008. If that song did come out in 2023, what could have saved it near the end would be a gent riff, in my opinion. That would have been amazing. You know, out in the where the strings are, did it just come in with this monstrous 9-string guitar riff? That would have been superb for me. And then number three, for once, I've actually paid attention to the video. And Dave, I wasn't frustrated by it, even though there were some ambiguities. At first, I was thinking, is this about the tragedy of being unrecognized by others? Yeah, well, no, innocuous. People, you're so innocuous, people don't even notice you no matter what you do. But I don't think it was about that. Was it about shedding an alter ego and then regretting it, or having to change who you are to suit others? Possibly. But I like the numerous possibilities of that and the connotations you can get from it and the subjective interpretation. So excellent video. Clearly got a budget behind it. The song itself, though, that's what we're here to review, isn't it? Boring. Didn't do it. I cannot understand why that is. Was it 4 minutes, 45 seconds? Not my type of music. Even the vocals are just not taking it to the places it needs to be. There wasn't anything spectacular in there. And I would guess the whole album would be 9-10 tracks of that. It would just, every song would just sound the same to me after probably track 4 or 5. So not for me. I'd need to listen to 2 other songs to make a real judgment on this band. And if both singles, in addition to this, sound like that, and then some of the album tracks, then I wouldn't be giving it a spin, unfortunately.
I mean, that's what's really interesting with obviously our taste, because obviously we would have said exactly the same about the Faith No More song we did earlier today. We're like, couldn't listen to anything of that, if any of the albums, and you're the same with that. And that's why it's always interesting to have our difference of opinions on this one. But so this is the band called We Are the Fallen. Now, the concept of this is, if you remember, Evanescence's major album was called Fallen. And Ben Moody left at the end of after that album. And the concept of this was what would have happened with Evanescence had they stayed on and he had been involved in writing the next album. But he wasn't. So as all these people have left Evanescence, what happened in 2008 when they formed? And this album came out in 2010.
Oh, close.
Oh.
Yeah, very close. There was an Irish singer, the singer in this, who had took part in American Idol, and she did an Evanescence Bring Me to Life cover. And so they saw how close she sounded to Amy, and did a whole album of what they would have been the new material for what would have been the next album of Evanescence had they all stayed in the band. And they said this is what Evanescence would have moved to on the next album had Ben been still in the band. And that was the concept of it. They did one album, and it was literally, they got all the original, that's why they're called We Are the Fallen, because they were the Fallen lineup plus this lady called Carly who came in, and that's why she sings in a Amy Lee style. So she can do that, but she also does her own singing where she doesn't automatically sing in it. So she puts on a little bit of an Amy Lee voice, because that was the concept of the album, was to sing as an Evanescence, the Fallen Part 2 album, if you like, the next stage.
I was close. But were those other guys?
Yeah, that
Drummer,
was all. That was all the
guitars?
Evanescence guys, the original from that album, from Bring Me to Life album. All of them, the bass player, the lot.
What a weird concept. Has there been anything ever like that before?
No, and it was just because the guys, because obviously Ben Moody left, and then the bass player left on the after the next album, and then the drummer left, and then finally the other guitarist left. And so what had happened is they'd all left the band, and it was only literally Amy Lee was still the only member left in the band, and they all got chatting and going about. So if we'd all stayed together, what would have an album been like? And they were just talking about this concept, and then this lady came across on American Idol, and they were like, "Damn, she's really good. Let's do an album." And they went out and they did a couple of big shows, and that was it.
I think I have found a precedent or something almost similar, but it's mainly a dispute between band members. Do you know that Polish black metal band Batushka? You might have heard of them, Andy. Come on, I'm being serious.
Why do you say this, Kirk?
Right, so there's a dispute about who owns the rights to this band, and they put an album out in 2019. I can't remember the one that the fans like or the one who owned the rights. So you did have an original lineup split, and then they both put out rival albums. This wasn't a rival album though, was it?
You get that with things like Quiet Riot, which has now got Quiet Riot, and Riot UK. You've then got Queensryche, done that.
Yeah, Venom Inc. Yeah.
So you've got bands that
Which
split.
that happens a
Of
lot, but former members all getting together and producing
a follow-up album to an album.
album.
that what could have been.
Are these all Ben Moody's sort of old riffs never turn into Evanescence?
Basically, I think there were some of the riffs that he had written from around that time that never got used that were specifically planned.
Such a strange idea. But
He also had to. I think what he also had to do is he had to put his mindset. He had to go back and listen to the Fallen album, and then feel what the natural progression would have been, and put his mind into writing that way.
Should we just see what label released it?
Not really.
Well, We Are the Fallen.
as a musician, it must be hard to put yourself back 15 years or whatever,
Yeah.
and think, what was my sort of writing style then? Let me write a bunch of songs in the style as a musician as I was.
Because they've all been doing it as well. They'd all been going off doing other things, playing in other bands. So it's an interesting idea, but I thought it'd be interesting for you guys to just see it and see what you thought. I came across that single and then I was like, hang on, is this Evanescence again?
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen the video. I heard the song and I thought it was an Evanescence song that had come out.
Dave, released by Universal Records.
Oh, my life's complete now that I know that.
Major label. But I'm not questioning the integrity. They've got every right to do this. If they feel they got kicked out of the band unfairly, why not go and do this? I think it's
Do you think
quite
it's a
good
bit
idea.
of a cash grab though?
Maybe not from them, but the record label thought, okay, they can put something out that's associated with one of the biggest selling rock bands of the 21st century.
Would the sort of marketing campaign be the new album from We Are the Fallen featuring 5 former members of Evanescence?
Very much. I think the other thing was it was also a case of fans had been asking them about, because they'd felt that Evanescence had lost that guitar driven style of writing. It had become very much Amy Lee's writing style, so it was how she wrote, and it became very piano vocal led. So they wanted it to become a bit more riff, and people kept asking Ben what would have been like if you'd stayed in the band. Do you think that you'd have gone in the same direction that Evanescence had gone in? And so he was like, well, no, this is how we would have gone if we'd gone that route. So it sounds quite a lot like that Fallen album with the Bring Me to Life stuff. So yeah, interesting. But there we go. Now, if you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.